It is content. It's Saturday night. No AI used in my intro. Uh, edited all together, which is why it seems very much like it would have been at the beginning of a '90s MTV
Oh, that's
show
my
or something. Yeah, but yeah, Saturday night content, and we are joined tonight by Frank Osgood, who's
uh,
here to talk about his comic Moonhogs, which he's got the pre-launch page up, but also
Yep.
we're going to be talking about. Oh wait, oh, I got my little graphic here. I made this also has no AI involved. I got bored last
Great,
week and
great,
made
great.
this. Great, comic book high five. Look
Nice.
at that. um, so hi Frank, welcome to Content. Thanks for joining me and thanks for offering to come on and share your campaign and your comic book high five tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Crenshaw. Thank you for having me. That's really appreciated.
Oh, no worries. So okay, first we already got Cole King saying
Oh, nice.
um first off, you
Yes.
are in Japan.
Yes. Yes.
What time is it there for you?
It's 11:30 a.m.
Okay, so not bad. Like
Yeah, perfect.
sometimes I've talked to guys in parts of Europe and it's like 4:30 in the morning for them. It's like I feel
No,
really bad. You I don't feel so bad for.
no, this is great. This is perfect.
All
This is
right.
perfect.
Are you lifelong Japanese citizen, or have you lived in the U.S. or?
No, I'm from Canada, so
Okay.
it's never lived in the U.S. Never lived in the U.S., but yeah, I've been living in Japan for about 10 years now.
Okay.
And yeah, it's like not a citizenship. Not a, don't have a citizen
Yeah.
ship status, but it's called permanent residence. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at.
My it's a bucket list place for me. Um,
Yes.
my wife, uh, her ex-husband was stationed in Sasebo, I believe is the name of the city. And so she lived there for 2 or 3 years. So she's always telling me how great it was, how beautiful and um, quiet, which is a thing I think I would really enjoy.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I live in Boise, Idaho. Fairly quiet,
Right.
but more and more out of staters are moving here.
Oh, I
And
see. That's interesting.
yeah, and we're getting so we got this nice little green belt, right? We go and we ride our bikes up and down by the river here in Boise. Um, a few years ago, so nice, clear.
Right.
Now we're getting traffic. We're getting people who don't know the rules, and it drives me
Um,
insane. And I end up saying things, and my wife gets mad at me because I say things out loud to other people, like, "Hey, don't stand in the middle of the bike path. It's not."
yeah, right, 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 right.
But from what she was saying, like it's a very rules oriented culture in Japan.
Yeah, yeah. They all. It's very you know, they do have their own. I guess it's just their culture. They've got all these ingrained rules that they have,
Mhm.
like and it's all regional. For example, like you stand on the right side of the elevator in Tokyo and walk on the left, and then in Osaka it's reversed.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's and they all, when the train's coming, they're all
Mhm.
standing in line at the platform. Like it's not just, helter
Milling about,
skelter.
yeah.
They all got lines. It's yeah, and it's something that if you stop to ask them, they wouldn't, if you why you guys like this, and they wouldn't it's always been like that for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is quite interesting.
I think I could get into that. I think I could handle that. You
Yeah.
know, it's like traffic. I feel like the people who ruin traffic are the ones who are not, you know, okay, a zipper merge, left, right, left, right, left, right. Simple. It's the guys who think they can cut in front of everyone or get two or three cars before they, it's like just do what we're all doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It'll work. But
But you're always gonna find people like that, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's like, yeah, they're always squeaking somehow. Yeah,
yeah.
even here.
So real quick, I showed this on X, but I wanted to point out some. So I don't go to my local comic shop very often. Um, but I've had a couple of weeks off of work, which has been nice on one hand. On the other hand, it's like I need some work, y'all. But
Understand.
I've been so I had some time. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the comic shop on, and I happened to go on Wednesday. I didn't even think about it, and it was fairly full, which I was excited about. Because you hear comic shops are dying, but then I started to notice the pattern, which is the younger guys. I live in Boise's a college town, so there was actually quite a few college guys there. They were all there for some sort of card thing.
I see.
The older guys were there to pick up their comics. So yeah, but still, it's keeping the store going, so that's nice. But I went to the dollar bin and started started digging through, and I saw this. Let me make
Oh,
myself bigger here. I I didn't know what it was, but Cyber Rad, and I happened to pick up just this one because the cover looks so cool.
right.
There are other covers. I went back and actually found more because so I found like number one, which is pretty
Oh,
cool, but not
yeah.
quite as cool. So I started looking through this thing, and the interior art is fantastic. Let me show you just the first splash. Oh my god, first splash page. Where am I at? There we are.
Oh, oh yeah. Wow.
And right off the bat,
Mm,
but the big thing was I did not know that there was a 3 and 1, 2, 3 and a half page
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
fold-out.
okay, I remember that. You put that on X.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
look at how magnificent that
Wow. A lot of work went into
picture is.
that.
Yeah, it is gorgeous. I am of the opinion that more comics need to have gigantic fold outs
Yeah, yeah.
because that is actually one of the things. How do I get back to that? Got me really into comics. It was Jim Lee's X-Men #1, the gatefold issue.
Oh, okay. That's the one that had like 4 different covers or like 5
Yeah,
different
yeah.
yeah.
So X-Men #1, yeah, they released was it 4 or 5, whatever it was, but individual, and then the gatefold was all of them put together. And my good friend at the time, best friend at the time, he was collecting for the sake of money. He was like, I'm gonna be rich one day. And so he had like 6 or 7 copies of this comic. And he said, "Hey, take a look at that." I unfolded that cover, and I was like, "Oh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life." And then I was like, "Can I have this?" And he said, "Yeah, you can have that." So that kind of started my fandom and collecting. So I saw that, and I'm like, it kind of re-sparked kind of that nostalgia, like what brought. So if any creators are out there watching now or later, or if you want to do this, Frank,
Yeah.
gatefold
Yeah.
pages. I
And
don't. I don't.
it's great marketing
Yeah, yeah,
marketing, trick. Well, especially and also like the X-Men #1 thing, because now collectors have to buy all 4 of them
yeah,
or 5 of them in order to have the complete picture.
yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Cole
But by the
says,
way, but is what year was that made? Like, it's
"Oh,
giving me
good question."
90s kind of vibes to it.
Um, 91, November
Yeah,
91.
yeah.
Yeah. Richard Bennett was the artist. Layouts were by Neil Adams, so that's
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, there's another one that I found. I just picked up because the cover looked rad.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Thriller. I didn't look at the artist when I just kind of flipped it open, and I thought, let me see if you does that look very much like John Romita Jr.? Like,
Ah, yes. Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah,
I started looking through it, and I'm like, is this?
yeah.
I mean, to me, it looks very much John Romita Jr.
Yeah.
But it's someone named
Was it Rick Leonardi or
Trevor Von Eden,
okay.
and so I'm actually going to look up more
Mm,
of his stuff because I really
Leonardi,
like the way that look.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
oh, it said, well, sorry, it was Cole said. I just read Megalith and had a sideways double page spread. It was really cool. Yeah.
Ooh,
Um.
yeah.
So, how was your week? Any comic stuff happening with you?
Well, not particularly this week, but 2 weeks ago, yes, yeah, things just go this year is going by so fast, it's a whirlwind. 2 weeks ago, I was at the Japan Comic Art Expo, and I was a Artist Alley participant there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and, they also um, usually they have the Tokyo Comic Con, which is really, really big. I think it's the biggest, Western comic book convention in
Hmm.
Japan. And they also used to have an Osaka, branch of that same convention, but this year, the Osaka one, they postponed it this year. So a lot of the artists and, event goers that would have otherwise gone to the Osaka Comic Con went, to this place. Which was in Tokyo, the Japan Comic Art Expo. So, like, Japan already does have quite a few comic events, and, so the Japan Comic Art Expo is one I went to 2 weeks ago as an Artist Alley member, and, yeah, they had a whole bunch of, artists and, companies selling merch, and they did have a dollar bin, and I wish I did have it on me right now. I can't, but I bought, like, I think it was an Uncanny X-Men.
Hmm.
Like, I can't remember the number, but it was, like, I think it was n late '90s, and it was an Alan Davis
Oh, nice.
Alan Davis artwork that he was the main artist and the cover artist as well that I bought.
Nice.
But yeah,
Um.
and they also have Osaka Pop Culture Convention, which is also like a pretty cool, comic convention. But yeah, the 2 weeks ago was the one, the Japan Comic Art Expo, and I got to do a few commissions there.
Oh, that's nice. Is there a so manga is huge in America
Yeah.
now. Is there any sort of inroads American style comics are making in Japan at all?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, I was surprised, and, they do have an audience there, and because specifically the Osaka Pop Culture Convention, which I just touched on briefly, and the
Hmm.
one that I went to a couple of weeks ago, the Japan Comic Art Expo, they are really, really focused on the Western style of comics, and you will find a lot of, Japanese fans and Japanese artists that do focus on Marvel, DC properties, and, for example, Magic,
Hmm.
Ilyana Rasputin, she's like the it girl right now,
Hmm.
or, has been for the last couple few months, so she's really popular, and her, art commissions go up, or, like,
Yeah.
a good sell. But yeah, yeah, I had, guys asking me for commissions that they wanted Venom. Venom was really big. There was another fellow who wanted, Doctor Fate, and there was a Hawkman request and the Hulk. And, it's strange because, you would think that the main reason why Western comics would have a big surge, not a big surge, but, like, would have a fan base would be because of MCU
Yeah.
or, the DCU, and, sure, that's true as well, but every now and then um, you'll get curves thrown at you, and one fan actually wanted a commission for a character that I didn't really know.
Hmm.
It was Stardust, which
Hmm.
is like a golden age character, and he actually wrote it out for me. made by Fletcher Hanks.
Oh, so that's yeah, that's a that's a just the name itself tells you it's an old comic.
Yeah,
Fletcher Hanks
yeah,
is
yeah.
not a modern name.
No. No, yeah, yeah. I would like, was that Tom Hanks' cousin or something? I had I had no idea what that was, and I had my phone with me, and then, I looked it up, and it's like some somewhat obscure golden age
Hmm, interesting.
character, and I ended up making, a commission out of it, and, like, it was a bust up, like, face,
Nice.
and it ended up kinda looking like Homelander, but,
Yeah.
yeah, it was yeah, I was just kind of, surprised at the time that,
Hmm.
there would be fans for an obscure American golden age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we barely have them in America, fans of obscure golden age,
Right,
Um,
right, right.
you
So
get
it'd be like
you get the uh occasional, so like Black Terror
uh,
is, one that seems to be holding on. And so let me see where um there's a guy here doing indie comics, Von Klaus, and he's got his Terror in the Trenches, which is based on Black Terror. But there's also, I just picked this up too. Um, this one's, early '90s Black Terror, so
mm,
he's in the public domain. But
right.
he's one of these characters, and I think it's the fact that he has a skull and crossbones on his chest that keeps him going. But yeah, it's interesting. Some people just latch on to some character. I like I when I was younger, before I even knew like the Shadow was as big as he was or is still. Um, I got into him for some reason, but mostly through the radio dramas.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I went and
Oh,
bought cassettes and would listen to the radio dramas while I was going to sleep and stuff when I was like 14 or 15. So, but yeah, those sorts of things just happen. Every once in a while, someone's like, I like this thing. And then they find you and have you draw it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, very, very random. Like, I could imagine, like, Tintin or, who was that other Windsor McKay? Uh, that kid that flies on his bed? Uh,
um,
Neo, I think EO or Nemo? Yeah,
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 what is his name? Yeah, I know who
yeah,
you're
but
talking about.
yeah.
In the Dreamland,
Yeah, 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 like,
Nemo, Little
yeah,
Nemo.
little yes, yes, yeah, like,
Yeah.
stuff like that, I would like, if they brought that up, I would understand, but yeah, like, the Stardust and Fletcher Hanks. But, that's I guess that's Japan for you. Every now
Yeah.
and then they'll surprise you with something random. But, yeah, I'm interested in those tapes that you got, like, the I guess it was very analog, the Shadow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This is like I said, I was like 14 years old. I moved a lot when I was a kid. My dad, wherever construction was booming, that's where we would go. And on one particular move, I don't exactly know why, but I picked up uh at truck stops here in the States. They used to, they still sell audiobooks, I suppose, although not many people are, but they'd have the spinning rack with all the audiobooks. And
Oh,
the first stop, we were moving from Arizona up to Washington. And the first truck stop we stopped at, I found um, The Shadow radio dramas, uh, Abbott and Costello, and oh, Ben as another comedian, and his whole shtick was that he's miserly, he's kind of stingy with his money. Um, Benny, but anyways,
oh,
I bought those up. I loved them all. I listened to them over and over and over again. But the shadow ones were actually creepy. Like, we're used to kind of visuals, in today's world where you need the visuals to get scared. But like, you remove the visuals and somehow, to me, it becomes creepier with sound and atmosphere. And they you used to do that with older scary movies where they couldn't show a lot. but so they had to create the feel. But yeah, they were pretty interesting. Lots of good listens in those.
Yeah. I guess that would be like a lost art form now
Yeah.
because, yeah, you'd have to, they take away the visuals and then, you have to, recreate all those things through audio.
Yeah. I do believe Orson Welles had something to do with some of those shadow radio dramas,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
he might have even voiced some of them. I'd have to look. I remember hearing about him being involved, but yeah. So, anyways, don't quote me on that
Yeah.
though. So let's do a real quick thing. Like I said before we started the stream, I'm gonna have you do a quick elevator pitch for your book, and then we're gonna jump into your comic book high five and learn about what these comic books mean to you and how they've affected you, and
Awesome.
made your creative juices flow, so to speak.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's your elevator pitch for Moonhogs?
First of all, I gotta go. I gotta warn everybody. I'm a bit long-winded when it comes to
No
things, but it's
worries.
gonna be, yeah. But anyways, the whole idea for Moonhogs, it revolves around a planet that's a gas giant, and this gas giant is a big energy source. So, like, think about like modern day oil companies, or
Mhm,
like modern day energy oil reserves. So, anyways, a big corporation is dominating the extraction of the oil and the economy of the gas. So it's kind of like a best spin from Empire Strikes Back,
mhm,
the gas mining. So you have a corporation that's dominating gas mining and utilities, and they own a small moon that orbits this planet. And on this moon is a colony and a city, and that's basically where the drama takes place. It's a bunch of citizens and refugee families that live on this moon that's created to support this energy company. And as the families, um, kind of the refugees and a lot of the families kind of um, the life there,
mhm.
navigate life and how they have to deal with the greed from the corporation and just internal struggles with local gang lords, and it's eventually going to get um, eventually the refugee families are going to get involved with the big picture, meaning getting involved with the actual company
Yeah.
that's domineering the energy utility industry.
So it's sci-fi, kind of, when you were kind enough to send the 10-page preview to me,
Mm.
and one of the feelings I got was Total Recall.
Oh,
So
that's cool. Yeah, I like that.
that on the run in a future space from the big company, the whatever, like trying to,
Yeah.
what was the whole thing with the Total Recall, the oxygen, like
Right.
the
Yeah, Mars.
the mining company knew that was there and didn't want it. So yeah, it had that feel to it. So
Okay. Yeah.
if you are watching now or later, and you're interested in, if you like Total Recall, like that kind of feel, I do have the link pinned in the chat, and I also have for the Kickstarter in the, what's it called, description. That's what the word is of the
Mhm.
video. So um,
Yes.
yeah, go check that out. But we'll dig more into Moonhogs in a little bit.
Yeah.
um, show some pictures so you guys get an idea of what the art looks like, the feel, and we'll do that. But first, we're going to get into. I get to do it again, so
Mhm. Oh,
yeah,
nice.
there you go. I had to make the sound by myself. We're doing comic book high five tonight, folks. It's five comics. I asked the guests to provide me with five movies, five comics, or five songs that means something. That um, you know, I haven't seen a lot of movies, so usually out of the five movies they send, I haven't seen at least one,
Mm,
sometimes more. But with the being in this indie comic space scene, comics is what we like, and so my thinking was that you join up, you watching the stream, and you hear what Frank likes and what has uh, given him inspiration, and then you'll be like, "Oh, I also like that comic, or I also like that creator. If this is the stuff that has inspired this guy, then maybe I'll like his stuff too."
mm.
So that's the hope. So we're gonna go through that with Frank right now. With I get some slides to show. So um, I don't know if you had them meant for any specific order. I just took them in the order that you
Oh,
sent them. So
yeah,
um,
yeah,
first one, and I also hope I got all the correct ones. Sometimes I stress about it
yeah.
so much, but
No
um,
worries, no worries.
uh, tell us about your first choice here and what it means to you in your comic book journey, I suppose.
Well, I'd been, I've been exposed to comics since I was a kid, right? And then, um, I it's not like I was never really, I didn't collect them. I didn't focus on them too much. And then my friend was a collector,
Hmm.
and he's about 2 years older than me, so I looked up to him, and he was a comic collector. And I think the first, I think we were at his house. It was a sleepover or whatever, and he had some comic books open, and then he gave me this one, and this was like the first one where I guess I was about, I don't know, 10 years old or something, and it kind of reinvigorated my interest in comics. So yeah, it's this Amazing Spider-Man, the volume one and number 208. And I remembered it right away. It was already he already had it bagged, so it wasn't like it wasn't like a hot off the presses issue. But
Hold on.
I
Sorry about that. This is the problem
yeah,
I had last week,
no.
where it it continually, no, I want this picture. I don't want me. This is not. No one wants to see me. Okay, we might have to do it
Okay.
without us on there. So continue on.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and so I remembered the cover and I remembered the interiors, and I think this is Ron Friends doing the pencils,
Hmm.
and yeah, just look at that, like, that's just,
Yeah, and
it
this
would
is
totally get me into it, and
during
this
Spider-Man's the black suit.
right, and that was the Spider-Man suit that I didn't grow up with, but that's a Spider-Man suit where what he was wearing when I got, reinvigorated with comics, so that's, holds,
Yeah,
it's very poignant with me, like the black suit.
yeah. I think I like when I first became really aware of Spider-Man was with the black suit. I think that was really the
Yeah,
big, you know, thing that was happening when I was a kid, and um, uh, you know, Secret Wars was happening,
right,
and
yeah,
the toys and all that stuff. So yeah, that was really mine as well. My kind of first intro
yeah.
into Spider-Man. So,
Yeah, it's also like the way how they render it, it's like kind of blue too, right? Like the
mhm.
shadows are black, and just the way how they were. It's same thing with Daredevil, right? Daredevil's a lot black, but he's thought of being red, and the
Yeah.
same thing with the Spider-Man. It's yeah, it was just and just the way how the panels are. Like, so this was, I think this was 1986. So this is before you got like the big full bleed pages, and
Mm.
so like the the panel lines and the gutters are really very clearly defined, and some people think that's too old school, but that's the format that I kind of grew up with.
Yeah, there's no uh, panel arms, sliding all the way across the page, across all the panels. It's
Right.
just panel
Yeah.
by panel. This is uh, what's the word? Uh,
I forget myself. But yeah, like Watchmen had the same thing, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
well, they did the 9 panel grid, but yeah, yeah, it doesn't have like the yeah, it doesn't have which I'm not gonna slag that either.
mhm,
With like arms extending over
yeah.
panel borders and gutters, but something like this, it's got its own charms as well that I like.
Yeah, the I guess dynamism of the later when you get into the 90s, the panel breaking and like gatefold
Mm,
gatefold images that, they're definitely eye catching. They're exciting and stuff like that. But for and I think a lot of people agree that, those particularly the earlier image stuff, the story wasn't super great. And
mm.
these older comics where it was just panel by panel, it was much more structured, story wise,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I think that's an important thing. Man, I wish I could. My mind has just gone blank on sequential. Golly, sequential
So
art. you know there it is. But yeah, the very very sequential, in that style. And yeah, there's something to it that, I here's the thing. It caught so many kids' attentions from, the 40s all the way up until late 80s, early 90s, when they started to really blow up with, what they were doing with, their panels being jagged and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever. So, there's something to it that means something to people.
Right.
So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's fine with I could read
mhm,
either one, but I do prefer this kind of format, but or even like a mix of the two, but still leaning more towards this
yeah,
kind of the more simple way of storytelling. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, like, it's like amazing like the shading they got there and like and how he's strategically they hiding his face,
yeah.
concealing the hobgoblin's face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that in that panel, earlier. Let me see if I can go back to it. The half face of that one right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess
That's
that
kind of,
started with Romita.
yeah, that iconic
Yeah,
half face, showing
yeah,
that tension of Spider-Man and Peter Parker.
mm. And I didn't know it at the time, but one of the reasons why this issue and like that this kind of time is interesting is because this was 1986, 87. So this is kind of right before um Dark Knight Returns and The Watchmen and that whole
hmm
deconstructionist uh
Yeah.
side of comics really had its impact. So, like, who are the enemies in this issue? They're called the Sinister Six.
Yep.
No, Sinister Syndicate. The
Oh,
Sinister
that's right.
Syndicate. Right? And you wouldn't afterwards, you wouldn't really have villain groups that would call themselves such words like Sinister in the name, or I
The
think even
Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Right, right. Because in the early 90s, they had to change it. They just changed it to Brotherhood of Mutants
hmm
because the whole thing was the villain is the hero in his own POV, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why would they call themselves? I think they had to. Masters of Evil wasn't really. They became the Thunderbolts later on.
hmm
Yeah. So this issue is kind of that last hurrah of um or that this era is kind of it's just that tail end of that not innocent but where you could actually have a villain team that has like the words evil or sinister in
hmm
its name.
Yeah. Where it was definitely black and white. We didn't need to,
Yeah,
understand the motives of the bad guy. We just, it was
right.
just like, he's the bad guy, beat him
Yeah.
up. Did this, comic, get you, like, did you continue on with Spider-Man, this particular, series after this
Yes.
point?
Yeah,
Nice.
it was Amazing Spider-Man that I liked, and, I think the next month, I bought a comic, and I wanted to get into it, and I think I bought a Spider-Man comic and it ended up being Web of Spider-Man.
Mm,
Because back then he had 3 different titles.
yeah.
I think, the Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, and Amazing Spider-Man. But Amazing Spider-Man ended up being my go-to.
Yeah, that's a I guess a complaint, you know, when we were talking a little bit earlier, you know, with the manga and the US comics thing is that that complaint of US comics of, oh, I want to read Spider-Man. What do I read? Because there's three, six, eight
Yeah, 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 yeah.
titles, all with Spider-Man or X-Men or Batman in it, and it's like, which
Yeah,
one do I get? You know, and
right.
do they all tie together? You know, it's
Very
yeah, it's
confusing.
a little confusing sometimes.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
X Factor is
Yep.
was next on the list.
Yes.
What was this one for you?
Oh, I think this was the first comic book I bought with my own money,
Oh,
or
nice.
with allowance money, and, yeah, just the title, like, just look at the cover shot, like, that's,
Hmm.
and then and my friend who got me into comics, the one who I mentioned before, he actually told me about this issue beforehand, like, spoiler
Really?
alert, so it's, this is right at the mutant massacre,
Hmm.
and, I think this is also 87, 86 or 87.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was my, introduction into the X universe. Pretty much it was an X-Men, but X Factor, so,
Man, that's pretty good when a friend's like, listen, you gotta you gotta read this comic because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
whoa.
Mutilation and, the mutant massacre, and this is, yeah, before obviously he became, uh, the 4th
Archangel.
member of, Apocalypse's 4 Horsemen.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and, at first, I wasn't really sure about, Walt Simonson.
Hmm.
I think I thought his artwork was a bit too angular at time, but now, you look back on it, he had his own style, and,
Yeah.
you can't really all the anatomy's there,
Hmm.
the dynamism's there. I mean, everything there is, just perfect.
Yeah, I dig his like you said, the angular kind of work he does is
Mm,
it's to me it's that mid ground of realism and like cartoony, which
mm.
is comic booky.
Yes.
You know, and it's a lot of what caught my eye was kind of the more you know, Mignola. You know, he was one, you know,
Ah, yeah.
where you have they're very very stylistically their own thing. And
Yes.
you know, so yeah, I like that about his work.
Yeah. Like, I read in the comments, like, some people said it looks like he was rushed or whatever, but, for rushing, this looks pretty damn good if it's rushing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, not as, not as, like, the curves aren't quite like, not like Neil Adams or something like that, but it's got its own style, and
Mhm.
it works. It's very good work.
What
Really
I
easy.
found interesting about this and even the Spider-Man comic was that there's not a whole lot of action going on in these two.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of you know, story, a lot of you know, like in the Spider-Man one, a good, I'm gonna say third of the story was a drama, like relationship drama,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and which is, you know, what a lot of Spider-Man is, and the X-Men, you know, but you know, you when you are an outsider, someone who hasn't read comics before, all you think of is punching. You know,
Right.
it's just a bunch of punching happening.
Mm.
But you get into them, and you know, there's you know, conversations, there's pain, there's all these things going on. It's I found that kind of interesting
Yeah.
that because you ask someone, me, I ask people, hey, show me some comics that mean something to you. Two things that have surprised me. One is that they're not always about the art, which is a big thing. It's kind of a let me go to this. It's kind of a what do you call it? A little bit of a debate that happens now and then on Twitter, which is more important, the
Mhm.
writing or the art,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And but you have people who are like, it's all about the art. That's it.
Mm.
But for a lot of times, that people I've invited on, it isn't necessarily the art. It's the story that has drawn them through the entire series or whatever. And but also the second thing that surprised me is that so far I haven't run across any repeats. You know, you
A re
think the Dark Knight would
ah,
be a pretty constant thing, but I think people are like, you know, yeah, of course I love, but this one was like my favorite for this reason. So that's been a fun, interesting thing with
yeah.
this segment.
Yeah, yeah, everybody has, their own, well, everybody gets into it at
Hmm.
different times, different stages of their life. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I watched a Todd McFarlane video yesterday or 2 days ago, and he said he didn't really get into collecting until he was 17 years old,
Hmm.
right? So, yeah, so, like, you're bringing your own life experience from age into that, so it's
Yeah.
gonna different things are gonna hit you differently, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into um, your next one. Oh,
Yes. Oh,
GI
yeah.
Joe 52.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Well,
I was
well,
a GI Joe kid.
yeah. Oh, yeah? Yeah, so was I. Yeah.
um, my intro was, of course, the Saturday morning cartoon and
Oh,
toys.
yeah.
But even before I really started collecting comics, one of my earliest comic, um, you know, times that I read comics or saw comics, one of the earliest times was my barber when I was a kid in one of the cities I lived in. Had GI Joe comics like all the time, like every time. So I would flip through them, and it was pretty cool because I knew who these characters were from the cartoon and the toys. So I'm assuming that you had a similar thing where it just it's
Yeah.
GI Joe, man.
Yeah, I know, like, I just look at that cover, right? I think
Hmm.
that's Mike Zeck,
Hmm.
and you got, like, the ninja from G.I. Joe and the ninja from Cobra, and, that's just a great cover, and look how,
Yeah.
like, the nunchuck or, like, it just, the way how the road to how he got the spin there, it's just great work.
um, were you the toy the 80s toys, GI Joe, Transformer, which ones were your preferred?
I like both of them, I like the G.I. Joe and the Transformer,
Yeah,
but,
nice.
yeah, but I eventually I Transformers first, and then I transitioned to G.I. Joe, and then around this time, when I saw this comic, that's I had already kind of, gotten off of toys for a few
Mm,
years or a couple years, and then, it was more video games and then comic books.
mm, mhm.
So, yeah, this is kinda just it was right at that tweener stage where, getting off of, um, been off of the toys and going into the comic books.
Yeah, this was a little bit later in the series in the GI Joe run because Serpentor shows up. That was
Right.
what some people consider GI Joe's Jump the Shark.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I see that, yeah.
uh,
Because they were getting more superhero-y, like, like
mhm. And
Mindbender, Doctor Mindbender had kinda he had, like, he looked like a supervillain, and
yeah,
Mentor the same thing.
they kind of like started to introduce supernatural elements, Cobra Law, and all those
Right.
things were happening. But man, yeah, no, I when I was going through these, looking for these, looking at these images and stuff, I was like, oh, This is rad. So you got the twins, Tomax and Zaymot. You got Cobra
Yeah,
Commander. You got Serpentor. I was in heaven. You got Destro,
yeah,
Baroness. Man, what a great. I mean, the one thing that the GI Joe
great
got
time.
right was like there were there was a character for everyone.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
if you liked sports, they had a guy who was a basketball guy.
Mhm.
They had Refrigerator Perry was one of the characters. They had,
Right,
um,
yeah.
so yeah, it was. I really enjoyed looking through these. How did this one? What did it mean for you?
Yeah, like the Spider-Man issue, that was also kind of like my introduction into comics as well,
Mm,
and, yeah, just, also, like, being able to 'cause, like you, I'd also watch the cartoon, so, you watch the cartoon and then you read the comic book, and there's some similarities, but there are also, like, a lot of more differences
mhm.
with the comic. Um, Comics seemed more mature,
Yeah.
with, like, relationships wise and, like because, in the cartoon, I'm sure you remember Flint was, well, all pretty much all the male Joes were, like, they were, like, stand-up gentlemen and whatnot,
Mhm,
but, in the comic book, Flint is a bit of a, not the nicest person. He's a bit of
mhm,
a, he's a egomaniac, and, they were able to make it a little bit more gray
mhm.
with the comic book and not as black and white as they did with the cartoon. So that's one thing I noticed when I read the comic book was,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little bit different it's quite different from the TV show.
Yeah. Not everyone was a kind of a cookie cutter character. I mean,
Right.
even though in the cartoon, um, they had their basic personality quirks. So in like Storm Shadow, he was the stoic.
Yes.
Um, Quick Kick was the kind of comedy guy. He was an
Mm,
actor, and so he had always
mm,
had a quip and stuff. But
mm.
they were still like straight hands on the
Yeah.
hips heroes,
They're all Boy
or
Scouts.
yeah, or
Mm,
on the other side, they were all rubbing the hands together. Uh, uh, da-
yeah.
dastardly. What's his name? From
Oh,
yeah,
Dastard, yeah.
twirling the mustache
Hanna-Barbera.
villains. Yeah, so
Yeah.
in the comics, yeah, they got a little bit more personality, more you know, multi-layered personalities.
Right. Dick
But
Dastardly, I think that was his name, right?
Dick Dastardly, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, look at
yeah,
these. Like, man, I had Quick Kick, I had Storm Shadow. I did not have any. I really didn't have very many cool vehicles
mhm.
because they were
The action
expensive.
figures. Right, yeah, that was the level up.
Yeah.
I think I had the Rattler.
Oh, everyone did.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a friend. So where I lived was in Arizona at the time when I was really collecting the toys. I lived across the street from the school I went to, Dexter School, and there was a kid who lived. His backyard backed up to the side of the school, and he had three of every single GI Joe ever made.
Ooh,
He had one that he kept packaged forever, one that he was allowed to destroy, and one that he was allowed to, after he destroyed the other one, he had to keep to play with but not destroy it.
okay. Ooh,
And
nice.
and me and my brother would just hang on the fence inside the school play yard in the summers and just drool over his GI Joe because they were all outside. He would create these elaborate stories, and we would just sit there and watch him play with these stupid toys, wishing we had all of them. But yeah, I love GI Joe, dude.
Yeah, that's a cool little story there, yeah. I mean, I never heard of this, the penciler is Rod Wiggum.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if he did any penciling outside of uh, G.I. Joe, but yeah, like like, look at those panels, like, with them showing their tattoos there on the left side,
Yeah.
the 3rd panel. I mean, the camera view
Hmm.
just, it's very, sophisticated.
Yeah.
It's quite a like, who would think of making, a view of that, for like for a comic book that was essentially based off of, kid toys.
Hmm. Yeah. Like, the actually the one right underneath is what you'd expect, where they're facing directly at each other, showing each
Yeah,
other the tattoos. But yeah, from the arm, the elbow
yeah.
of
Snake
Snake
Eyes.
Eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. You got Dreadnoughts. You got, yeah,
Mm,
good stuff.
yeah. Nostalgia.
Yeah.
Nostalgia overload.
I also like this last panel. Well, almost the
Mm,
last panel of the
mm.
comic where they're basically saying GA Joe's done with.
Yes, yeah.
But
Yep, the pit is closed and sealed.
then we're moving on to one. Like I said, I thought this would be a fairly common repeat. But you're the first to really
Wow.
pick the Dark Knight. So I think everyone has their reasons and their moments. But what is your history with the Dark Knight, Frank Miller's Dark Knight?
Yeah, well, like, in my before I became a teenager, I phased out of comics,
Hmm.
like that buddy that showed me Amazing Spider-Man 280, like, I had a little comic book run and then or, I was into comics for a little bit, then I got out of comics. And then when I started to get back into them again, um it was this time was like Dark Knight time and Dark Knight Returns. And I'd heard about it before because it's considered one of the Bibles of the postmodern
Yeah.
age of comics, like it, you know, um spearheaded by Frank Miller and Alan Moore and that whole era.
Hmm.
So it was always like, Dark Knight and Watchmen and I think Daredevil Born Again. And I didn't have the book, but I grew up I was in Toronto at the time, my hometown, and they had this at the local library. So I reserved a copy and I read it and yeah, it just got back into helped me to get back into comics
Nice. Yeah.
in that,
I
post 20s, 30s and stuff.
Frank Miller's I'm assuming uh uh because he you see it in other stuff too, where other artists are he's the writer, like we'll see in your next comic.
Mm,
But just his, like we were mentioning earlier, panel by panel storytelling that he did, and Alan Moore did too, a lot of that, um just
mm,
fitting as much story into each page as possible.
right.
And yeah, beautiful, always just beautiful work.
Yeah, and at this time, I was taking, a comic book course because I was wanting to get back into because 'cause I'd always been good at drawing, and, I was, um I was considered the artist at my elementary school, and then I got out like, this common, pattern in my life. I got out of
Hmm.
it and then got back into it again. And I took a course by, probably a name that you know, Ty Templeton,
Hmm.
um, writer of Batman, and he talked a lot. He got onto Dark Knight Returns quite a bit and talked about how cinematic the paneling is and how Frank Miller was innovative in how he manipulated panels to either slow down a scene or
Yeah.
pick the pace up.
Hmm. Yeah, you could see it in a lot of, also, okay, here, oops, I hit the wrong button, hold on a second, there we go. when you were reading for the first time through this, how did like these scenes
Mm.
hit you? Redheaded girl, Robin,
Yeah.
and Batman driving this tank. Was it as um, impactful to you as it seems to be for just about everyone?
Well, at the time, Batman Begins had already come out, I think.
Mm,
Batman, and you had the the what it was called, the Tumblr.
mm,
So by then, I was kind of desensitized to new Batmobiles, but yeah, and this is also after Jason Todd died.
yeah.
So yeah, this is the thing that grabbed me most about this comic. Well, first of all, the spoiler alert, the fight with Superman and Batman,
Mm,
but also the how he did some of the panels. Like for example, um, I don't have an example on me, but where we'd have small panels, maybe one, two, three, four of them next to each other,
mm,
four panels side by side, and it would be like a drip of water dripping from the pipe.
mm,
And then the first panel would be like the water collecting at the bottom of the pipe, and the next one, the water bead is starting to form, and the next one, the water actually falls down,
yeah,
and then the last one is the water bead of water suspended in the air as it drops. Like I didn't know what to make of that kind of sequential, and then I realized, oh, he's this is the comic book version of slow motion,
yeah.
and
So you kind of
just yeah,
kind of get it in this the pearls.
right, yeah, exactly. See, yeah, when I first saw that, I didn't know what to make of it, but then I did a second reading, and then okay, that's what he was trying to do. It's like
Mhm,
you can't with movies, it's easier to do that, right?
yeah,
Because you could have flashbacks, and you could put the scene into slow motion, and have echoes and stuff. But it's a little bit, you got to be more creative to render that with pen and paper.
yeah. The how many panels and ideas out of this that uh Zack Schneider put into Batman v Superman.
Yeah,
You know, the pearls is one of them. The uh, busting through the wall.
right.
Uh, Batman is another one, but yeah, a lot of it. But yeah, like you said, Zack Schneider can do that much more easily. You the gun fires and it slides back and breaks the necklace. And this, it's a panel by panel getting giving you just that flow of time. This is all happening in his mind and intercut with other things that he's thinking about. Yeah, it's very, yeah, manipulating time like that's is pretty cool.
Yeah, like yeah, it's like some people said like comic books is kind of like a language.
Hmm.
Like it's like it's a language, and this is kind of like it's a dialect, right? This is kind of a new kind of grammar that you got to wrap your head around. It just takes a couple of looks, and then uh to mm, you're able to groove with it. But
Mm.
the first
And
time was kind of like, wow,
yeah,
I haven't seen this before.
yeah, especially coming from more classic comics where it is the pacing is super quick. It's you've got so much story to tell in 24 or whatever pages. um and so you gotta beat by beat by beat, every panel is telling the next part of the story in it's in rapid succession.
Right.
And in this book and others that kind of were at that time, they started to really slow it down. You could um what would take a page now takes an issue.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just yeah, the whole language changed.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, just look at that. Look at that. That's amazing. That impact with the punch there.
Yeah, that, and then right below it where he just pulls his metal mask off.
Mm.
Yeah, there's one of the things that problems I have with doing this segment is there's a lot of pages I could choose, and I have to like pick and choose like which ones,
Yeah.
to other. I've got, I could just go, 100 slides, but no, I can't do that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then the ending with the heartbeat.
Right. Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. I'm surprised that I'm the first one
Yeah, yeah.
to choose the Dark Knight Returns. That's that I figured that would have been a staple.
Mhm. Yeah. But then we move a little more Frank Miller here.
Yeah.
Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
Different artist than Frank's not doing the work, the art in this one.
Right.
It's Mazzucchelli's got his, but you definitely see, especially as we move on later on, Frank Miller's hand
Right.
in it for
Right.
sure. But
Yeah.
and I know that Born Again is another major player in the a lot of people's comic book fandom. But how did you run across it? What was your first taste of it, and how did it move you?
Mm. Well, yeah, this was probably I when I got back into comics and
Hmm.
I read The Dark Knight Returns, and then you know I would go on the internet, and a lot of people mentioned Watchmen, The Dark Knight, and then there was the third one, and that was always like people would mention Daredevil Born Again.
Hmm.
And of that, it was kind of like the triumvirate of the postmodern superhero deconstructionist um, genre of comic
Hmm.
book. And so, also library. I got I can't remember if it was library or the internet, but I looked up the Born Again issues. I researched what ones they were, and I started reading them, and then yeah, just um, impressed by the art and the storyline.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's just because um, you probably saw it in interviews before. Daredevil wasn't really he wasn't the highest marquee player
Yeah.
for Marvel. I mean, he was like, you would always whenever they had merch, he would always be there, but he would be kind of on the sides. But this
Hmm.
is kind of this somebody actually took the time to really focus on this character.
Yeah.
And it's just it was an amazing story.
Yeah. And the art is fantastic. An interesting thing that I
Yeah.
noticed as I was going through is every. Let me see if I can go back. Every issue starts with him lying
Yeah.
down in some way.
Right, right. Yeah, another one is him. Yeah, there's Purgatory, and yeah, and it looks like, it's getting more of a darker with each passing issue. That, like at first he's like in his home, and then the Purgatory one, he's looks like he's in some, you know, um some flop house, or like, cold water pad.
Hmm. And then you get he's curled up
Mm.
in an alleyway.
Yeah, yeah, right? It's yeah.
But yeah, right here is about where you start to really see some Frank Miller, in the art
The stamp,
itself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I haven't really read up much onto, like, behind the scenes with this book, but
Hmm.
I wonder how much, he advised, Mazzucchelli as to, layout of the panels and whatnot and
Hmm.
thumbnails. Yeah, yeah. I mean that's great artwork
Yeah.
and great storyline.
Land. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fantastic stuff. But uh, the Mazzucchelli's work in is year one, right?
yeah,
Is um, where really first saw his stuff. And I same thing as you. It was a library pickup. You know, I was like,
yeah.
oh, I gotta check out.
Mm.
I, the library's done a lot of good for me with comics. You know,
Yes.
when I think it's fairly similar to you, where I kind of fell away for a while, and then I had kids, and we started taking to the library all the time, and it's like, oh, hey, look, a comic book section,
Mm.
and I started to pick up things there, and so it kind of got me back into it.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, very helpful.
Mm. Yeah, like yeah, that's the thing is this was I think this was at the same time when, X-Men was going strong and I
Hmm.
think the Secret Wars finished. So, they were all comic books were dominated by all these cosmic adventures
Yeah.
and mutants with, that can lift 100 tons and, lasers but then you contrast with this is very it's more of a gritty New York urban story, and not so
Hmm.
much with teams, right? You got Captain America there, but it's basically
Yeah.
Daredevil versus the Kingpin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
I I
different vibe.
I had to pick these. The color on these 3 pages is phenomenal. The blue, and then the how the red stands out against it, and then the
Right.
red, and then you got man, just beautiful stuff.
Yeah. 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 Very yeah, very intentional, very engineered, right?
Hmm. Yeah. All right. So that's your let me see if I can do it here too. That is your comic book high five.
Yeah.
There
Nice.
you go. Thank you. All right. So as I said earlier, if you know, if those comics resonate with you, and you wanna um, read a comic that was influenced by all those things, and I'm sure many more.
Mhm.
um, Frank has a comic that he's working on that's been he's got a campaign that's up in pre-launch right now. Um, I'm trying to find the right button for where am I at? Anyways, there we go. Um, Moonhogs.
Yes.
Let us talk about Moonhogs. We're going to go ahead and show you guys a little bit of that. There we go.
Mm.
Tell us about Moonhogs, and where what's the plans, what's going on with your campaign, and when are people going to be able to get their hands on it and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So I had initially made new Moonhogs about 2 years ago. It was a black and white version, and
Hmm.
I put it for free up on Global Comics, and it's
Yeah.
still up there now. And then I was I eventually was thinking about getting it into Kickstarter. I wanted to make it a marketable thing, but when I started rereading it, it just wasn't it just basically wasn't good enough. The comics and I realized just putting it in colors is not going to be enough, and the story was kind of boring. There wasn't enough high stakes for the characters, so I realized I just had to totally revamp it. And then so I revamped it, and a couple of months ago I put it up in Kickstarter. Right now, um, and I've been doing. I did the writing, the penciling, and the inking, and the coloring and everything. It's just
Mm,
been a solo effort.
yeah.
I don't wanna go through that again if I can help it. I want to avoid that as much as I can. But yeah, it's been a rocky ride, but right now I'm about 50% finished with the coloring. The pencils are done, ink's done, all scanned, and, right now I've finished about, um, so it's gonna be 48 pages, and I think today I'm gonna finish page 24 with the
Nice.
coloring. So, about halfway there, and then for the lettering, I've got well, I've I did the preview, so I've got about 16 pages completely lettered and, formatted, ready to go.
Nice.
So,
Um,
overall about 50% finished, and, yeah, I'm thinking to get it out, start the campaign in mid-August.
so when you release the original version, I guess on Global Comics,
Right.
excuse me. Um, how was your how was it received? You know was and how many of your followers and fans, I guess, from there,
Mm.
are you able to? Do you know how many of them have moved on and are looking forward to the new version?
Oh, thank you, that's a great question, and, the thing is, um, I gotta tell you something. Released 2 issues. I
Mhm.
really released Moonhogs 1 and Moonhogs 2, and, I didn't have many followers, but Moonhogs 1 on Global Comics got 4.7K views
Nice.
or 5K views up to now,
Hmm.
and I looked at Moonhogs number 2, and it got up to, like, 1.5K views or
Mm.
1.7K views. So what that told me is the Moonhogs 1 got some traction, but it didn't get them involved enough to read Moonhogs number 2.
Mm.
And, that's one of the things that I realized that I had to revamp the story for Moonhogs 1. And, to answer your question about how many people are migrating, from Global Comics, um, you know, I view the Global Comics and the Kickstarter to be totally 2 different things. Now
Mm.
that you've brought it up, I probably should try to, touch base with the Global Comics consumers and try to get them to come on
Yeah.
board. But, at first I thought it was just gonna be a small revamp, but then I wound up doing pretty much the whole issue number 1 over again. It's a total reworking. And that's
So
why I just think, yeah, it's a totally different animal from the Global Comics version.
so is it how much of it remained? Like, is it like your overall story is still there, or have you reworked it enough that you're now maybe heading in a different direction? Or
Yes. Yeah, it's about 10 pages from the original is
Mhm.
still in this one, the revamped one. And actually what Moonhogs number 1 is right now, like on the Kickstarter, it's kind of a prologue
Mm.
prologue to what happened, with the Global Comics one. Like I was reading my Global Comics Moonhogs, and I realized that, a lot of the information that was kind of like a info dump could
Mm.
have been used, to tell a sequential story.
Mhm.
But in order to do that, I would have to go back in time and make a prologue, and which is this one right here,
Nice.
um,
Okay.
with the Kickstarter.
Yeah. I mean, I know that you know, you write something, you create something, and you're like, okay, put it out to the world, and then you take that step away for a minute, and then you come back, and you're
Mm.
like, oh, I could have done that. I could have done this.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
sounds like that's kind of what happened with you, and you're changing up some stuff, and hopefully
Yeah.
it's you know, it like you said, it'll catch the hearts of the people who read it, so that as you continue on, you'll keep your numbers, and maybe even grow them and whatever. But why don't you go ahead and scroll down and show some of
Oh,
the
sure,
art
yeah.
and
Okay,
some of the.
so yeah, so I'll just gonna scroll down right to this is like the is it scrolling down?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, so this is basically just let me just extend here. So this was like the first blurb that I had to do. This is kind of a side story within the first few pages of Moonhogs.
Hmm.
This is an excerpt from the cover, and yeah. So the initial the hero of the story is this person right here,
Hmm.
Radek, who's got a wife and a small child, and he's going to be a central figure for the first couple of issues, but as it goes on, his kids are going to grow up, and the kids are going to take more of a central role in
Okay.
the story because it works on generations. This book.
Okay. Do you have a I guess what would be like, I don't want to say issue count, but do you have like
Oh,
uh
okay, an
a
idea of
plan for the future? Is this like, do you
yeah,
know roughly what you're shooting for?
15 issues.
Okay.
12 to 15 issues. It's going to be, like a um limited series. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's basically starting out with this guy called Radek. He's working for an energy utility company. He works at the refinery of this utility company. They take the gas from the gas giant, refine it into fuel, which the people need across the galaxy. Sorry, I'm just going a bit too fast. And he's working there. He's in the factory. It's kind of a go nowhere job. He's an engineer, but he's kind of doing work that he thinks is beneath him. Hasn't gotten a raise in a long time. Just being a factory worker that can't he can't climb the corporate ladder.
Yeah.
Right? And then the side story is this another unrelated refugee woman and her child, and they have a mysterious background. In fact, you don't really learn their names at first, and there's a reason why they have to stay in the shadows. And
Hmm.
this whole moon colony that they live in, it's gonna be it's they have to obtain citizenship,
Hmm.
and it's getting very harder and harder for them to get citizenship because they have to stay kind of off the grid.
Hmm.
'Cause like I said, they have a shady past, and they've got people following them for reasons that will be shown later on in the story.
Yeah.
And they have to go through these kind of underground channels to get fake citizenship. So that's where this figure, this this guy in the trench coat, in the brown trench coat, kind of comes in.
Hmm.
So he's going to be their kind of middleman to try to get citizenship and stay off the grid at the same time,
Yeah.
and see how it goes. And you kind of see how that goes in the PDF preview.
Yeah.
Right?
It
And
start
then
I saw that he starts off with, you're kind of like, oh, this guy's just kind of a, in it for the money, but then, maybe he's not so much, maybe he's got a little heart. you know so.
yeah, 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 it could be or maybe not. Yeah, you don't really know about him. And
Yeah.
then yeah, and then this last little piece is I'm kind of trying to foretell the future where, you know, it's it's starting off at the moon colony, but the story is going to take us beyond the moon colony. It's going to take us back, take us to the big gas planet,
Hmm.
or the big gas giant
Nice.
that the moon orbits. So
Hmm.
it's going to be, it's going to be an interplanetary story.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I had the first 9 pages as a preview. Um, Let me know if I'm scrolling too fast or if
Oh no,
there's some
it's
place you'd like me to zero
going
in
good.
on. So that's basically it. This is Tarhoon. This is the gas giant.
Hmm.
And I decided to give it a vertical ring rather than a horizontal ring just
Hmm.
to make it stand out a bit. And you know, the memories of Empire Strikes Back came back to me with the Cloud City and Bespin and the
Hmm.
gas mining, and that's basically what they're doing. There's this company called Valhalla Energy, and they've got basically a monopoly on this gas extraction business. And after they extract the gas, they bring it to the closest moon. I think
Hmm.
in Empire Strikes Back, Lando Calrissian and that the Bespin colony, they do all the refining in the upper reaches of Bespin, right?
Yeah.
They do it all
Guys,
there
this.
in their space station.
Yeah, and what was this city called? There was, yeah, but I know you're talking about
Yeah, Cloud City and
Cloud
Lobot.
City.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
and they do it there. But here, they bring it off planet. They go to their moon, which is terrestrial, not a gas giant, and they have a colony there, and that's where they do the refining process. So it's it's kind of based like I don't know if you know about Toyota company, the car company. They
Uh,
have there's actually a city called Toyota,
oh, really?
and they for all intents and purposes they own that city,
Hmm.
and all the workers from Toyota live there, and they even own like the supermarkets there and the convenience stores there, and like a corporate town, a community town.
Yeah.
And this is kind of my interplanetary sci-fi version of a company town
Hmm.
where the company that owns the gas builds a refinery on the colony,
Hmm.
and they own the colony on the moon, and they own it all.
Is so is Toyota the town a good town? Like so like Hershey, Pennsylvania. You
That's
know,
right. That's another one. Yeah.
when Hershey's was, still in the family before it became a corporate monster, um, it was he very much cared for his the people of his town.
Right.
I heard a story about during the Great Depression, he actually dug into his family fortune to make sure all of his workers were paid.
Oh, great. Ooh,
And it's
easy
like you
time.
hear that and you're like, man, I sure miss the idea of family, run like, companies.
Yes.
um, so obviously in your story, this is not the case. They're not.
No. No, no. No. No, it's they've this the company's called Valhalla Energy, and they're already, yeah, they got the monopoly, and they're yeah, not really family oriented at all, right? Not
Yeah.
family oriented at all. And even though they, for all intents and purposes, they own the moon colony, they have to show that they have to show the galactic council that they are not really they're just business only, and they're not really going to have any political motivations. But
Hmm.
behind the scenes, they this is this guy with the purple jewel in his forehead. That's the mayor,
Hmm.
and he's kind of the figurehead of democracy in the colony.
Hmm.
Um, that it's not just a corporate town; it's actually a town that has democracy, has a and the Galactic Council still owns the moon. It's not
Hmm.
like it's not private. It's not privately owned. It's not a
Yeah.
privately owned moon. So but of course it is.
Yeah.
They do own it for all intents and purposes. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
just going on and on. They they own it, and he's just a figurehead to make it look like
Mhm.
it's a democracy, and so that's that's him. That's the mayor,
Yeah.
and basically he's going to get more tough on immigration and more tough on citizens citizenship acquisition. So because of that, people are kind of scrambling to get their papers. So
Mhm.
here, this is like Haven Immigration Department, and this is finally off all that info dump. This is where he Radek comes in, right? So he's the father. He's got the wife. He's got the child, and he has um, he has safeguarded their citizenship. So he got their citizenship in, and then yeah, you got this like foretelling.
Mhm.
Sorry, I don't know how much time I've got here, but
Oh, however
yeah,
much time.
yeah. Okay, he's foretelling his future. He's gonna join this corporation, and basically we go into the next part where you see this side where a guy and a family is able to go through the legitimate channels to get
Mhm.
citizenship, and then you go to the other side where how the other half live, and you've got this lady who has to get her citizenship uh, under different
Yeah.
circumstances, right? So
So, real quick question:
yeah,
this guy here who is helping him out,
yeah.
um, the guy did you have any influence from the Fifth Element and oh, what's his name? Um,
Oh, the Gary, I forget
Gary
his name.
Oldman's character.
Yeah, yeah,
Because the hair is
yeah,
that's when the first thing I saw the back of that hair, I was like, it's what I thought of immediately was.
yeah. I know I never saw that movie from start to finish.
Oh no.
So, but I've seen like the promos and all that. So maybe that was swimming in my subconscious, so to speak.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I wanted a guy who had like a little bit of a punky cyberpunk kind of
Hmm.
image to him, who looked kind of like also Attack of the Clones.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, there's um there's a scene where Obi-Wan Kenobi gets a drink at the beginning. He goes
Hmm.
into a bar to get a drink. And there's a guy that comes to him and wants him to buy death sticks.
Oh yeah.
Is that ring? Yeah, yeah. I kind of based it on him as well. I think that character's name was Sleaze Bago or something. Yeah, yeah.
I think
So
you're
yeah,
right.
very yeah, cyberpunky kind of shady runner kind of character
Hmm.
was what I was going for with this. Yeah, so he brings her to this place that makes counterfeit IDs, and the girl that she's with, and then that's where the preview ends,
Hmm.
with her getting a little surprised once they get to the counterfeiters. Oh, is this an ambush? Is the police going to come and get me because I'm an illegal, I'm an undocumented alien, stuff like
Hmm.
that. Yeah, and then once if you follow on Kickstarter or you subscribe to my Substack, you'll get the next 10 pages of this.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
So
you got the girl's mysterious. She's got features that need hidden. Um, and then a little bit later, there's twists as to who actually is chasing them.
right.
Um, so yeah, it's like you got a lot going on, a lot of like I said, and you posted a video on X of where it was a lot of if you like these things a lot, Star Wars, and
Right.
you kind of read the, but um, there's a lot of stuff that is touched on in this that if you are into classic sci-fi, 80s, 90s stuff, that this might be right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what are some of the, besides, you mentioned Star Wars already. I don't even know if Total Recall was amongst your uh, influences, but like I said, it kind of gave me that feel as well. But what other things kind of influence the story?
Well, first of all, when you say Total Recall, do you mean the Arnold Schwarzenegger one?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I
Yeah,
I, I completely forgot that there was a remake.
yeah, the Penguin's not gonna be too happy to hear that. Yeah. Um, yeah, well, yeah, it's, not only, like, Star Wars, but, like, Dune. I
Hmm.
think Dune was a big influence because when you get right back to it, this story is a lot based on Dune because Dune is Arrakis desert planet, and instead of a desert planet, I got a gas giant,
Yeah,
and they're going for spice. Instead of spice, they're going for a gas fuel. And so Dune is there as well. And I really liked Silverhawks
mm,
when I was growing up,
mm,
Silverhawks and Thundercats,
yeah,
and I kind of wanted that vibe in it as well.
mhm.
And you know, I don't know, like nostalgia. I'm just a nostalgia junkie, and I look back on, you know, in some ways, I think back to myself, like, why do you want to go back to this time? You're in elementary school. It wasn't the best time for you, and you didn't have the same freedom that you do now. But a lot of those, there's a simplicity in those stories that were really cool, like with
Yeah,
Silverhawks and Thundercats, and I just love that the '80s cartooning techniques as well.
yeah,
So yeah, stuff like that, I really want to put into Moonhogs
yeah.
as well, like Akira and
That's what I was gonna say. How much since living in Japan, and how much of that uh, has influenced your creativity?
yeah, it's funny because I'm not a big manga guy.
Mm.
And a lot of people probably look at this and watch this and say, "What a waste! This Yahoo is in Japan and the mecca of manga, and he's not like taking advantage of it." And I do read some manga, but I don't really belong to that school that's gonna just slough off or just dismiss Western comics
Hmm.
at all. Like it definitely does play a role with the manga, like the mecha, and there seems to be a different pacing, and I do try to read as much as I can with the manga, like
Yeah.
Titan, and I've read like uh, Tetsuka Osamu's you know Astro Boy, but they call
Hmm.
him Atoma here, and
Mm.
Blackjack, and various sci-fi that I can get my hands on.
Yeah.
Um,
I
and
think.
as far as visuals, yeah, it definitely plays a role. But I'm not going to betray my Western.
Yeah.
No way.
But it's also, just like with comics, it's, whatever catches your attention, whatever's, your, for instance, me, I'm, even though X-Men was like, um my intro, the superhero stuff kind of fell away pretty quick for me. And
Oh, really?
I got more into, indie stuff, Concrete, Hellboy, those sorts of things were
Okay.
more my style. But manga, it runs the gamut of, everything. So, it's, just to say, oh yeah, I like comic books, is, or I like manga, is pretty broad statement.
Right.
So, like you, I'm not super into manga, but what I have read, what bits and pieces, they had to catch my attention in the first place. Akira, obviously, like, having watched the anime, was like, whoa, this is so cool. And you can see it right there. That's
Oh, yeah,
actually
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
my
yeah. Your
my
box
wife
set.
got me the whole collection last year, 2 years ago, for Christmas. So
Okay.
um
Nice.
but yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful book. But yeah, I'm not like trying to read the ones about fishing or
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know, what for, so yeah, it's just to say, yeah, whatever catches your attention, is gonna catch your attention. So,
yeah. I know,
um,
and it is strange because my wife is not a sports person. She doesn't like sports at all, but she read the entirety of the baseball manga,
hmm,
Major.
hmm,
Yeah, so like you never know how it's gonna
interesting.
hit people, right? It's
Yeah.
like yeah, and they got like lacrosse manga, and they got like after school extracurricular band group manga. I mean, yeah, they yeah, it runs the gamut, like you said.
So, do you think, um, if American comics were to start spreading their wings and doing that sort of thing, like, hey, I got this cool comic idea about uh, women's book club,
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah,
or whatever, just whatever it is. I'm sure you could probably find something out there in manga about a book club.
yeah,
Whether it's good or not, that's
yeah,
a different issue. But
yeah.
do you think that would help, the American comic market here in America, as it is struggling, a bit?
Mm, yeah, 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 you never know. Yeah, it's like first of all, I don't why is it struggling?
Um, I,
Is it
I honestly like,
you mean like the floppies or like the digitals or
well, in general, floppies definitely,
okay.
have been for a while, but digital are doing well. But even then, I feel like um, a lot more of that digital is leaning towards manga as well.
Yeah.
You go to, um, my air conditioner just kicked on. It is
Mhm.
so cold right where I'm sitting. But you go to, Barnes and Noble, and where it used to be 4 or 5 shelves worth of, graphic novels. Now you're down to about one shelf of graphic novels and 6 to 8 shelves of manga.
Yeah, I guess tastes are changing. You know what, maybe yeah, I think it could happen, but I think initially it would have to if America wanted to do like that, like or even Canada wanted or any kind of Western country wanted
Mhm,
to spread their wings and um, widen their range of comic book materials and genres, it'd probably have to be done through a manga lens first, right?
mhm.
They'd probably have to use like manga style artists because you'd want to capture the people who want to read manga
Yeah,
in the first place, and then maybe like after a few years or whatever, I don't know. Seems that cultural developments turn over faster and faster. Then
I
you
do.
could probably then experiment with more, bringing back in Neil Adams style work or John
Yeah,
Byrne style work or John Romita Jr. style work. That would be awesome if
I
that
do
could happen.
find it, interesting. So, from a Western lens, you look at manga, and for me, you have kind of your stand, and Akira is one of them. Uh, Berserk, that where very much it is very much a manga style, but for most Americans, when they think manga, it's just the big eyes, the Sailor Moon
Yeah, right.
look,
Yeah,
um, and is I can't get into it. Like, I can't.
yeah.
But
I know what you mean. Yeah, I have the same kind of like not prejudice. I have the same taste.
like kids, nowadays, that's, like you said, if the Western market really wants to kind of, reach those kids nowadays, they might have to lean into that look, into
Right.
that, um
like the dual tone, the screen tones, and
Yeah,
then
yeah. Is
the
there in your experience, what you've seen, is are there manga artists who where here we have your Frank Miller, who's
well,
he started off pretty normal, kind of Neil Adams kind of vibes, and then he went off into Frank Miller land,
yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
now he's doing these covers which are super stylistic, simplistic in a way, and 100% his own thing. You got like I mentioned earlier, Mignola and his style. Are there that you've seen? Are there Japanese manga artists who are breaking out of kind of the what we would say is the mold of manga art and doing like their definitive styles?
Ah, yeah. Well, yeah, and um, I'm not the I'm not a big manga aficionado,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, and so like I don't really do keep my I really don't keep strong tabs on the manga artists, and yeah, I really should. I really should more often. But yeah,
Because
the whole thing, like the big eyes and the sail. I know what you're talking about.
it feels to me like it is a very, and in this like we were talking earlier, how Japan is, you ask, if you were to ask them, hey, why do you stand in line, this sorts of things, it's just what we do, it's just
Yeah,
um and where it's structured in such a way, this is how we do it, this is what we do. And whereas Western society, it's like, seek your own way, be your individual person, so everyone's just like
mhm,
you have your clones, your Liefeld guys who all want to draw like Liefeld or whatever, but then you have Liefeld
right.
who just like does his thing, and it's interesting. I think that those are the it seems to be the two cases with manga versus the Western comic stylings, and
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting yeah, that's a bit of a contradiction because you got the West that's very, find your own way, like very MTV-ish,
mm,
just do your own thing. And so why would they gravitate towards manga? Because, like there does seem to be like a very set way of doing things, and they don't want to veer away from, like
mhm,
this style that was pioneered by Tetsuko Osama. This is what we're gonna
yeah,
stick with. Yeah, I think I guess Junji Ito. He's like a horror comic
mm,
manga artist. He doesn't. He's as far not as far away from, but he's kind of veers away from that whole like Sailor Moon big eye kind of
yeah,
thing. It's
we got
yeah, it's but yeah, like you said, they have their own way of doing things, and why they all line up in the for the train. That's something that just something that's just ingrained to them, that this is the way how they have to do it.
it's just, well, we also got Buzz Acevedo saying
Oh,
F manga.
F-Man.
It's also interesting in that with outside of the indie space, you know 70s, 80s, Marvel, DC ruled, and they had house styles, right? So pretty much everyone was drawing in the same way for both of them. It broke free, at a certain point, and now we got indie comics. Everyone's kind of making their own stuff, but it's interesting that in manga, like every book is somebody's baby. It's like their thing,
Right. Yeah.
but they're still kind of sticking to that script, so to speak. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's super interesting. Yeah, I, I,
Yeah.
I wonder what the West can learn from that in order to, and with Absolute Batman. that that's kind of put a little juice into the market recently. I know that image numbers have gone up because of it, and so but again, that might be a fluke. That might be once the shine wears off of that, if it does, because it's not supposed to go on forever. The absolute universe is supposed to have a pretty clear ending.
Right.
um
Limited.
yeah, so yeah, I wonder what if there's anything from those differences between the Western market and manga that can be you know
Yeah.
gleaned. But
Is I haven't seen any interiors of it. Is it black and white like manga?
the
Absolute.
absolute, no,
Yeah.
no, it's got full color stuff going on.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Well, hopefully, yeah, hopefully, it'll reinvigorate the audience, and then before, like you said, before the sheen wears off,
yeah.
something something new that's based on it will also
Mm.
carry them through. So, it's like you have a spin-off, right?
Yeah,
Like the whole.
you might even have to keep me and everyone informed as to does will the absolute universe make any sort of splash in Japan, or
Oh,
I know there are guys who are from like South America, artists, tons of artists from South America and stuff. I wonder if it's going to be doing anything down there, or is this going to be just a purely American Canadian thing that blows up. But yeah, it'll be interesting to find out.
yeah. You mean the absolute?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I do have I don't know if it's here. I think I do have some work from a Japanese artist who was, yeah, sorry. So like Japanese, they work with brush, right?
Hmm.
So this artist, he did like an Iron Man using, sorry, the glare is from the windows coming, using
Yeah.
just using like a how they write their kanji using their
Oh
brushes.
yeah, that looks that looks
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So so like they got their own,
Hmm.
yeah. So things like this can, you know,
Yeah, those are
that's
really,
not an absolute, right?
no, no.
But that might be able to, that shows you the there's Black
Hmm.
Panther, the Japanese um rendition of American style comic books. Maybe
Yeah.
um you could do some of the same in America, just
Hmm.
revisualize some of the characters using that way that will be palatable to fans of manga in
Yeah.
America.
Yeah. All right. Hey, you know what? It is my battery's
Really?
running out on my iPad again. I don't know why. Um, Last week I almost ran out of battery with the guy I was with my guest, and I realized it's because I had my brightness turned all the way up.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm getting down pretty low. I'm at 18%. So and we did pretty good. We're a
Yeah,
couple hours now. So yeah,
yeah,
not
yeah,
bad. Getting close. But
yeah, getting
um,
close.
I wanted to say thank you, Frank, for
Yeah,
joining the show, for sharing with us your comic book high five comics that meant something to you, and for sharing your campaign and
yeah.
comic with us, Moonhogs. And if anyone is watching now or in the future, go check out like I said, I got the link in the why this word. I always want to say comments, but it's not comments, in the description.
It's switching. Yeah.
I got the link in the description. I do have the link in the comments. But head there, sign up if you haven't yet. Read the preview. Where else? You said Substack
Yeah,
is
Substack. Yeah, Substack or Substack. You can if you sign up, you'll get the 11-page
yeah.
PDF. So 10 plus page PDF. But if you also become a follower on Kickstarter, same thing. You're
Nice.
also going to get
So
yeah.
yeah, everyone head there, do that. Also, Global Comics, read the original version.
Yeah, the beta or omega version.
Yeah. And keep track of Frankie's on X. Anywhere else that you hang out?
Yeah, yeah, X, Instagram. I think I got yeah, I took the link tree description off. Yeah, but X, I got the Instagram link and the DeviantArt link
All right. And
and the sub.
is it all just under Frank Osgood?
Yeah, or Osgood Comics.
Osgood Comics. All right.
Yeah,
There you go.
all one word. Osgood, Comix. Osgood Comics.
Awesome. All right. And so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up for the night, and well, wrap up for the midday for you.
I mean,
um and hey, have a good rest of your afternoon.
thank you.
Meanwhile,
Again, Sean.
I'm gonna go to sleep. So
Yeah,
and we will
recharge your battery too.
yeah, exactly. We will see you on the X and
Yeah,
wherever, and uh, look forward to your stuff. So,
yeah.
and
Thank you
everyone
so
who
much.
is watching in the future, thanks for watching. Next week, I do not. I think it might be Cole King
Oh,
again.
okay.
I think
Cool King.
so.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
buddy of mine, so I'll be coming in.
nice,
I'll be
nice.
watching.
So if not, I'll let you know on X. But I'm pretty about 85% sure that he's up for next week. But anyways, we'll see you then. We'll see you around,
Awesome.
everyone.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much. I really appreciate this. Thanks you.
Oh,
Thank you for getting the word out.
you're welcome. All right. Have a good night, everyone.